Good morning, explorers. Happy Monday. I hope everyone's going to have a great week this week, and welcome back to another episode of More to Explore. My name is Brian Bird, and I'll be your co host today, along with Explore.org's resident naturalist, Mike Fitz. Good afternoon, Mike.
Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to Explore.org if you're new to the community, and welcome back to all of our longtime viewers. We are the world's largest live nature cam network. As a reminder, we're live right now, Brian and I, so if you have comments, questions for us, please drop those in the chats. You can let us know which cams you're watching this week. There's a million things to watch on Explore.org, Brian, almost too much to keep up with.
Yeah, with so many cams, there's so much to see. And today we're looking at clips from. We're going to see some sloths, some brown bears, belugas, orcas, walruses, and more. And be sure to stick around until the end of the episode today because we'll be joined by Explore.org's Director of New Media to give us another update on the latest features of the new Explore.org commenting system. But Mike, before we get into that, we're looking at the Impala watering hole cam where there was some hippos a little bit ago. But let's talk about that bold baby hippo that we saw in this cam a little bit ago.
Yeah, these cameras at Impala Live are some of the best that we have to see hippos consistently and just a diversity of wildlife that you get across this portion of Kenya. And when you're a young animal, you're still exploring the world. Maybe if you're a young hippo, you begin to feel the territorial tendencies of an adult before you're fully grown. If you're as big as an elephant, though, you know it. You might get used to using your size to intimidate other animals. So, what happens when those attitudes collide? This is one example. And if you haven't seen this clip yet, choose your fighter. Will the elephant intimidate the young hippo, or will the small hippo stand up to the Goliath? So, let's watch this conclude.
And from what I understand, that you got moving the trunk, has the ears forward.
That ended fairly peaceably, I guess, or peaceably. This scene again is brought to us by our partners at Impala Live in Kenya. So let's look at the clip more closely now that we've seen how the interaction ended. The elephant, again, is approaching directly. Its head lift is typical of elephants, and it's a warning to other animals. It's flapping out its ears. It means that the elephant is trying to make itself look larger. And then the elephant is vocalizing too. So its vocalizations, its movements, its trunk waving in this situation are all an attempt to get that small hippo to move on or move out of the way. The elephant also knows, and I think it's a she, that her herd is nearby. And for social animals like elephants, there's safety and comfort and security in numbers. So from the hippo's perspective, though, its body language is in this clip is a bit more difficult to read. It doesn't give a big yawn as a warning like you'd see from a territorial adult, but it likely knows that it can retreat to the safety of the water if necessary. This is a young hippo too. It is nowhere near close to fully grown. So maybe it hasn't learned the rules of the road yet. It is small compared to the elephant, but the hippo appears to be calling the elephant's bluff in defense of the hippo pool. So is this youngster a bit naive in its abilities and sensibilities, or was that a display of bravery in the face of challenge from a much larger opponent? This is, I think, one of our favorite clips to come out of the cams for the Explore.org staff over the last several weeks. So yeah, if you if you're small, hey, you can think of that hippo standing up to that Goliath of an elephant. So please check out the cams at Impala Live in Kenya at any time on explore.org.
Definitely. And heading down to South America, we have some other cams that have been out for a little bit, but we'd like to welcome back our sloth cams.
Yeah, the sloth and toucan cams at Toucan Rescue Ranch in Costa Rica were offline for several weeks due to a bug in the system. And this wasn't an electronic bug or a coding error or anything like that. It was a real bug in the networking equipment. And Brian, you and Candace will join us a little bit later, informed me that debug is a metaphor with roots going back to some of the very first computers. And you dug into that history.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating stuff. I was looking it up and found this image from Oh my gosh, where was it? From the Smithsonian, the National Museum of American History. And this was taken in 1947 when engineers at Harvard University were working on the Mark II computer, and they actually found a moth stuck in the hardware. And in the book, they taped the moth, and you can see first actual case of bug being found. So, and that's where we kind of got the debugging. And as you can see here in the camera, sometimes with wildlife cams, we have actual bugs in the system. And this, not just the sloths, but it reminded me of another time from one of the cameras in Africa where we actually had one of the wireless links was down, and then they went to investigate. They had an entire beehive
Oh,
built
wow.
in the radio dish. But anyway, that little tidbit. But we're very excited. Thank you to the Explorer Field Techs for getting these cams back online.
Yeah, these cams are great. I mean, just to see these young animals that are getting rehabbed and ready to be released back into the wild. Toucan Rescue Ranch works to rescue, rehab, and release Costa Rican wildlife. And the animals there receive full 24/7 vet care at the facility. Right now, you can watch a, a variety of different animals. The toucan cam is actually a hawk cam right now because there's a hawk in there, a gray-lined hawk who was rescued from captivity and is working towards release in the wild. And then as for sloths, they progress through different schools of rehab depending on their age and health before they're released into the wild. So on Sloth TV, the Rescue Ranch staff are caring for the youngest of the bunch right now: Opal, Bonnie, Clyde, Tay, Waylon, Beanie, Fiesta, Bruno, Nevada, and Pixie. These are animals in Sloth Preschool, which is essentially a nursery hospital for young orphaned or injured sloths who cannot survive on their own. So check out their work at toucanrescueranch.org and watch the sloths and other wildlife that they care for anytime, of course, on explore.org.
And next, let's head over to Katmai National Park, where we have our brown bears. And it seems like in August there's always a lull in bear activity. So why do you think that is?
Yeah, that's right. And you're not the only person wondering that. A lot of people have been wondering that as well. And in fact, Vancouver Life commented on YouTube that Vancouver Life is watching Brooks Falls Cam mostly, and also Churchill for Aurora and Belugas. And this is kind of prime time for a lot of those cameras right now. But if you watch the bear cams at Brooks River in Katmai National Park in July, and then you took a break for a couple of weeks and you tuned in today, you might be surprised by the lack of bears at the river right now. So where have the bears gone? Well, their summertime habits are highly influenced by their hunger. In the Naknek Lake and Brooks River region of Katmai National Park, the most important bear food is usually salmon. However, bears make many choices to find a variety of nutritious, highly digestible foods. So their search for those foods is purposeful, not random, and it is designed to give them the best opportunity to get fat before winter. In early summer, Brooks River is the first place in the area where bears can fish for salmon. There are no berries available in early summer, and it is harder for large bears, especially to gain weight on vegetation like grass and sedge. Some vegetation can be protein rich, but greenery usually lacks the fat and the sugar that bears need to gain body fat. Now, however, bears have options beyond Brooks River. There are berries like crowberries and blueberries that begin to ripen in August. There's other berry species available to bears right now as well. Many bears will take a break from salmon fishing to forage for sugary berries. Salmon are also dispersed and spawning throughout the watershed. Bears have a diversity of salmon streams to choose from in August. Within a day's walk for a bear leaving Brooks River, it could easily find one or more streams where salmon are spawning. This image shows some of those options. Brooks River is at the center of the red circle. The blue lines on the image represent salmon spawning streams. The stars mark the places where those streams empty into lakes. I should emphasize that these are only a few salmon streams. There are more that I could have marked on the map, but I didn't. It was just maybe a matter of time and getting this image ready. Yet the small streams that host these more ephemeral salmon runs provide more foraging opportunities for bears across the landscape as a whole. So Katmai supports so many bears, maybe more than 2,000 brown bears at last estimate, not simply because there are salmon there, but because bears have access to salmon through the entirety of the summer and in many different places. If a bear was at Brooks River in early summer and is absent now, then it's likely doing well. And a bear's habits in midsummer, I think, demonstrate the diversity and richness of Katmai's landscape.
Very cool. And even if the bears are taking a little bit of a break, there's so much more to see on Exploded Org. So let's look at some of the other in-season primetime cams.
Yeah, that's right, Brian. We mentioned this last week, but we definitely want to uh, draw attention to these cameras again because at Orca Lab, just again, we're just getting amazing footage of orca whales that we get the opportunity to observe and study the unique culture of northern resident orca whales there. So we can watch for pods swim by and socialize. Especially this underwater camera at the Strider rubbing beach. It captures footage of orcas rubbing their bodies on the smooth cobbles of the submerged beach. There's a chance to see other marine mammals like sea lions and humpback whales there. And then moving inland, so to speak, to the Hudson Bay area, which of course is marine, but far to the east of Vancouver Island, the Vancouver Island region, the beluga whales in Hudson Bay have moved into the Churchill River estuary, and every summer, more than 50,000 beluga whales travel to the Churchill River estuary. And the beluga boat takes daily excursions into the estuary to provide some of the best live video and audio of beluga whales that you can find anywhere. I was actually watching this morning as I was doing some of the final prep work for this camera today, and there were live belugas there following the boat. So this week, check out the tours. They start between 9 and 10 a.m. Eastern time for the rest of the week. And then walrus, still time to watch the walruses that use Round Island as a haul out during the spring and summer where there's no when there's no sea ice in Bristol Bay. Sometimes there's just a few walruses on the cams, and sometimes the colony is all packed into the beaches, and you'll tune in and it looks like the entire beach is just covered in blubber. And then, of course, one other reminder, watch the Annan Creek bear cams. They're great to see. There are black bears fishing this morning for pink salmon right at the creek. So amazing footage that we have there.
Definitely. So definitely check out any of those cams. And this time of year, it's a little bit of a bittersweet time when we get to say goodbye to our last chick from our Egg Watch segment.
Yeah, this will be, I think, our last Egg Watch of the year. This was a regular segment basically since February, perhaps, this year because we had so many nesting cameras. But at the Alligator Farm Zoological Park in St. Augustine, Florida, there are still some waiting birds with some older chicks they're just about ready to leave the nest. So check that out. We haven't watched the specific nest here, but there's a lot of different wading birds to see. Plus, the alligators are just super cool in their own way. And then our final specific nest cam in Charlo, Montana. We want to congratulate Charlie and Lola, the adult ospreys there, because their surviving chick fledged from the nest on August 12th. If you watched our last More to Explore episode, we emphasized, hey, watch this camera because the chick is getting ready to fledge, and that happened just a week ago today. So C16 fledged from the nest on August 12th. The moment that a bird leaves the nest is a special one. It marks the success of the parents after many weeks of hard work, as well as the newfound freedom for the young birds. So C16's world is about to get a whole lot bigger as it explores the surrounding landscape and maybe eventually migrates potentially as far south as South America. And we want to thank our partner there, the Owl Research Institute, for supporting this cam throughout the summer.
Awesome. And we want to bring back another segment and invite you to share your stories with Neighborhood Nature.
Yeah, I've been so busy with bear cam stuff that I haven't had time to prepare any neighborhood nature sightings for everybody. But we want you to share your stories with us. Send a quick photo, a little blurb about what you saw in your neighborhood. to feedback@explore.org. And really, it can be anything. You can talk about the insects that you've seen. Maybe you had a memorable mammal sighting. Maybe there is a pond or a stream or something like that, or a park that you like to visit, or a tree you like to visit that gives you comfort and solace on a daily walk or something like that. So check those out, or excuse me, send those to feedback@explore.org. We'll be happy to check those out. I look forward to seeing what people share with us. But Brian, you took a trip to the Colorado Plateau recently, and I understand you had a memorable mammal sighting.
Yeah, real quick, I was able to get out of my own neighborhood, visit the Colorado National Monument, just kind of see here. And we were driving up the road, and I didn't realize how much of like kind of a special rare sight it was, but we got to see some desert bighorn sheep. It was totally just standing on the side of the road grazing, and we rolled up and kind of noticed us, and then was on his way.
Oh, this is great. Yeah. This is the big ram too. So sometimes they can be pretty shy for people who are like on foot or like riding a bicycle or something like that. But a lot of animals to their, don't recognize cars as dangerous. So you can sometimes roll right up to them and sort of watch them. So yeah, that's an awesome sighting, Brian. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. And Mike, I know you've got some critters in your yard as well.
Yeah, I've been this year a lot of times in my spare time been focusing on the little stuff rather than, I like to look for big mammals, but the little stuff is also fascinating to me. So when I moved to my house a few years ago, I knew I didn't want to maintain a lawn. I don't consider myself a lazy person, but mowing lawns is not something that I enjoy. Plus, lawns are not good wildlife habitat. So I wanted to invite more animals to share the landscape with me. So I stopped mowing to see what would grow there without my help, and I began transplanting some native plant species into the former yard. Last year, I added the northern bush honeysuckle to that habitat, and this is the plant that you see here. Its scientific name is Dervilla lonicera, and it's that the genus is spelled Dierbilla. And this is a shrub found in much of the northeastern US and southern Canada. It does well in dry, nutrient-poor soils, which means it would do well in the compacted, rocky soil behind my house. And so this summer, and not long before the plant was about to bloom, I noticed that something was devouring its leaves. And on closer inspection, I found a thumb-sized caterpillar getting fat
Wow.
on the foliage. And so this is a Dervilla clearwing moth caterpillar, which feeds only on this species of plant. And it was quite chubby and it was doing well. After pupating, it turns into a beautiful moth that flies during the day, hovers like a hummingbird, and looks like a bumblebee. I was glad to see this tangible example that my efforts to increase diversity in my yard had worked. You can find this species of plant elsewhere in the area, but it wasn't really found on the area that I consider my property. So I was really happy to see this. And I hope that the diversity of life that we see on explore.org, on the webcams there, and maybe outside your own homes can inspire you to make your neighborhoods and communities a more welcoming place for wildlife.
Yeah, awesome. Very cool. And again, share your stories with us. Send an email to feedback@explore.org, subject line neighborhood nature. And beyond all of the live cams that you can see on explore.org, which is a ton, we also have a full lineup of live programming, including this week. We have, as Mike mentioned, the beluga boat tours every day this week. Coming up tomorrow morning, we have the AfriCam show if you feel like going on a live virtual safari. And then Tuesday, we have another play-by-play. Wednesday, a brown bear live chat with bear personalities and culture. And then coming up Thursday, we have the Wild Moment shows showing all the best clips from the AfriCam cameras. And then, Mike, you're hosting a Brooks Falls YouTube Q&A on Thursday as well.
Yes.
Whew, so much. And to keep up with explore.org on all of your favorite social media channels, including our main YouTube channel, Explore Live Nature Cams, where you can see the ever popular continuation in the series of seeing brown bears slip off the falls. It's always a good time.
Yes. Yeah. Please join us on explore.org and all of our social media channels. Thanks to Brian Bird for putting this program together today. My name is Mike Fitz with Explore.org. We are going to transition now into a different segment. I want to bring in uh, our Director of New Media, Candice Rush, to the program because Candice has been working really hard with our developers on our commenting system. And Candice is here to share some updates and talk or answer some viewer questions that were submitted in advance for this. So, Candice, thanks for taking the time out of your day to join us.
Thanks for having me. It's always fun to join you at the end of More to Explore, and I am very excited to talk about the Comet system this week because last Monday we released some much requested features. So I'm excited to show people that and to answer some questions. But before I do, I have one small PSA, just because it seems to be happening more. About 2 months ago, we started to receive reports that people were getting an error saying log in to prove you're not a bot on the live streams where the live stream should be. This is an error coming directly from YouTube, not Explore. Understandably, people think I'm logged into Explore. I'm not a bot. What's happening? I noticed this started happening more as YouTube started to crack down on ad blockers and changing some of their authentication. Our recommendations on how to fix this are to clear your browser cache, to reboot your device, or to even go so far as to reboot your router. We can write out those instructions for you if you email feedback@explore.org if you find yourself facing this issue. We are just as frustrated by it as you are. So if you also want to email YouTube themselves and let them know that you're encountering this problem, that would be lovely. I don't have any special contacts at YouTube, or I would do that myself. We have reported it on our end as well. But that aside, I'm happy to start answering some questions about the Comet system. Y'all gave a lot in the form I posted last week. So
Yes, yeah, there's a lot here. I'm not sure if we'll get through them all, but we might. We'll see. And people had questions, Candace, about editing
mhm.
options because that's one of the features that we gave people the ability to do. So one person was wondering, is there an edit option that once you do it, it corrects the full comment? I have edited my original comment, but once it shows up, uh, when someone likes my comment, it's still incorrect. So I think maybe this person isn't seeing their editing
Mhm.
showing up from what they can see.
I actually think this person is onto something that I didn't realize. So you can edit your comment if you click these three dots right here at the top. It'll say edit. Um, but what they're noticing is that if they edit a comment here, but like if I, went to change this exclamation point to a period, save, um, it will show up for everybody as edited on the comment board. But if you want to go like my comment now, the preview here in notifications would still have that exclamation point in it. And I asked our developers about this, and it's because the notification is sort of like hard coded as it is right now. So the edit doesn't make its way to the notification, essentially. But the comment itself is properly edited when people view it. It's just that it's not properly edited in the notification right now. So I've let them know. We're going to start to think about that this week to see how big of a lift it would be to also edit the notification dynamically. But rest assured, the edit is there in the comment board once it's edited.
And somebody else was wondering, will we be able to edit photos in our gallery?
Mhm.
I delete, this person wrote in and said, I delete a lot of good shots because I've misidentified, presumably maybe bears. If you're trying to label a screenshot that you've taken, a snapshot that you've taken, you have the ability to add a note there if you want to. And for a lot of people who take a lot of snapshots, that can help them to organize their photos and remember who they were seeing on this day. So somebody was wondering about maybe editing feature there.
So you can't edit it in your gallery, but if you go to your profile history and you go to your profile and you go to comment history, you can edit from your original comment here. So if you click see original comment, and then you can go and edit just like you would edit a regular comment. But you can't edit from the gallery yet, although that is a good suggestion. And so we can think about, again, like what it would take to make that happen, because I can see editing in the gallery being much more convenient than having to scroll back through your comment history to find your snapshot. But But yes, you can edit the ID here in your comment history like you would edit a regular comment.
And then somebody was wondering about finding comments to correct
Mhm.
something, maybe to edit. So this
Mhm.
person wrote in and asked, is there any way to get back to my own posted comment to correct something?
Again, so my suggestion here too is to, and maybe people don't know this is here because this was a part of a release later down the line. But yeah, if you go to your profile, go here, go to my profile page, and then it'll default to this favorites and snapshots page. But if you go to notifications, you'll see notifications for comment history. So you can scroll through your whole comment history. And if I wanted to, edit this one, you go see original comment, it'll load it up, and you'll notice it's taking a little bit to load. We've also flagged that for the developers to see if we can speed that up. You can go here and edit it as well. So I really do encourage people to spend a little time on their Explore profile and check out what's changed there, because we've added quite a lot of stuff to the Explore profile with the new comment system. So yes, go to your profile, go to your comment history, and you can go back and edit and change anything there.
Okay, that's a great tip. And I would
Mhm.
also add too, like if you do a lot of commenting, you could do perhaps like a keyword search right in your browser, like using
Mhm.
if you're on a Mac, like Command F or Control F if you're on
Mhm.
Windows. Because if you have a lot of comments in there and you're like, I don't know, I knew I said Otis in this message, but I don't know exactly when. Like if there's a lot of comments loaded on that page, then maybe you can just search
Mhm.
specifically for that. That might help you narrow down your search.
Yeah. Then you can just tab through whatever you've searched here. Yeah. That's a really great suggestion.
I
Although
actually I use that all the time for
it
when
makes
I'm
sense.
searching for
Yeah.
comments.
I do see how it might be useful to, like, in this comment history page, also maybe let people edit from here directly instead of having to go back to the comment board. I can also bring that up with the devs
Sure.
as well. It's like I could see that being a lot more convenient for people, especially if they're prolific chatters.
Another person was wondering about I think, yeah, about commenting,
Mhm.
possibly editing. This person wrote in and asked, will it be possible to see who commented on your post from the notification screen
Mhm.
rather than having to click on the comment link and go to the chat?
Yeah, so if you go here in the notification bubble, it does say, so Mike Fitz, resident naturalist, replied to your comment here, and this is the preview of my comment. This is preview of his comment. Sounds good. Brian replied to my comment, awesome, can't wait. But what people might be seeing is that, like, the reactions, you just get like 4 people reacted to your comment. And we ended up adjusting it like this because when we first released the comment system, reaction notifications displayed the same way as like a comment reply, where it was like Mike replied, Courtney replied, or reacted, and it ended up being like 20-30 notifications for like reactions on a single comment, and people found that very noisy. So we adjusted that to 4 people reacted to your comment. And so to see like in detail who reacted, you would still have to click through to the comment and then, scroll over your reactions to see who was there. But for replies, it does say their name right there in the comment in the notification screen.
And this next question, Candace, I'm not sure what it refers to, but
Mhm.
somebody was wondering why they said, why do I keep seeing, quote, something went wrong, try again later? Have
Mhm.
you seen this error?
Yeah, I have. And so when you see that, it could be for any number of reasons. Uh, Potentially, we're having issues connecting to the comment server, or maybe you switched boards and it's still looking for a comment on like another board, which is I think when I've seen it. Um, but if that happens, it's really helpful. Take a screenshot, send the screenshot to feedback, and sort of describe to us what you were doing. Because I've seen it, but I haven't been able to like narrow down any specific cause yet. So if you see something went wrong, try again. Screenshots always helpful, and then send it to us at feedback, and we can maybe collect some more information about what is going wrong. It's a pretty vague error, so it can be hard to track down what's triggering it. But you're not alone. I have also seen it. If other people are seeing it and watching this, please let us know. Email us feedback, and we can see what's triggering it.
Okay, and about photographs and adding, maybe snapshots to a comment. That's a popular thing for people to do on explode.org. One person wrote in and said, I'm posting multiple pics. How do I delete one of the pics before sending the post? So let's say you're composing a message, you add multiple snapshots to it, and you're like, I don't want to add that one, or I've added the same one twice. So how might you delete that?
Yeah, so we're gonna go here and attach. We're gonna attach all 3 of these. Nope, we gotta do one at a time. I knew that. Uploading. So we got that one, and that one, and this one. So it is, admittedly, I understand, a little small in this thumbnail view. So if you scroll over it, you see there's a little eyeball and there's a little X. That X would delete the photo for you. And this is if you're uploading, if you're gonna, keep it in this like thumbnail gallery view. If you insert into the comment itself, you just delete like you would delete any other text, and then just backspace there. But then you post your photo.
Excellent. And one of the more recent features with this commenting system is hashtags and the ability to filter comments. So somebody was wondering, could you do a short video either within the chat or a separate chat on how to use the filtering system or find comments? Maybe, Candace, if you just want to give us a quick walkthrough on how to filter and use hashtags.
The filter feature is, I think, one of the things we're most proud of here. So to find the filter, you're going to go to this little filter icon right here. And you got plenty of things that you can filter through. So show everything, show only off-topic comments, hide off-topic comments. That's up to you about what kind of stuff you want to see. So if I select, we don't have many off-topic on this page, so it probably wouldn't show much. Hashtag, so when you're doing a hashtag, you're going to want to do, let's see. Yeah, okay, you don't have the hashtag. So you're gonna have to actually select it here from this drop-down menu. Or 80, there you go. And if that was all you wanted, you hit apply filters, and then it'll take a second to load. It's going to search the whole comment board for hashtag Otis. I don't know if there's going to be any instances of Otis on this live events. No. Comment board, no results. So, okay, there you go. Reset filters will clear them.
Right. But if you were over in the brown bear cam and you searched for Otis, there would be hundreds.
Hey, something went wrong. Try again later. So that was having issues clearing the filter. It's good to know. So we're gonna try another filter that we just added, which is very exciting. So this username filter was also something that people were really, really clamoring for and asking for. So we're gonna pick on you, Mike.
Okay. Here's where you find all my demons.
Right, exactly. So to find someone's username, you're gonna type their username, select it here, select apply filters. All of Mike's posts will show up. So when I'm searching for posts Mike has made on the Explore live events page. I'm sure you're going to get more detailed bear information if you searched for Mike Fitz on the Brown Bears page, right? So this is all of the things he wanted. People really asked for this because they're like, I know Luna posted her brown bear GIF breakdown, but I cannot find it. I scroll through the basement to find it. If you do not see their username show up when you type it in, it means that they're not allowing themselves to be searched. So one of the other things I really encourage people to look through is this new settings wheel. This will it includes default settings, how you want the comments to load for the first time, but also your privacy settings. So if they don't click this last one, make comments history public or let people see my comment history, it means that their username won't be searchable. And if you click on their profile, you won't be able to see their comment history. But Mike, I think you might have made your history viewable.
Yes, it should be there.
Yeah,
And if
yeah.
it doesn't load, then I need to correct that.
No, it did. It's just slightly slow with Zoom also running on my computer. So yes, so check out your settings. See if you want, and then if you want more detailed descriptions on what these mean, it's in the comments how-to document that should be pinned at the top of your comments. But we can also send it to you in feedback if you would like a direct link to it.
And Candace, is this the way somebody would be able to potentially see if like a specific user wrote a new comment? Because we did the next question in the queue is about that.
Yeah.
Somebody wrote in and said, how can I see when someone sends a new comment?
Yes. So if I already have followed Mike, but I will unfollow you. Yeah, goodbye. So I see Mike and I'm like, I really want to know.
I'm hurt.
I'm so sorry. It's okay. We're gonna fix it.
All right. Okay.
So if you wanna follow somebody, you're gonna click these three dots here. This is my mod account, so I have a little bit more things here, but for most people it's gonna be edit, that kind of stuff. Follow post, follow user. So follow post is going to give me a notification every time new activity is made on that post. Follow user is going to give me a notification every time that user posts something. And the way to see it is you go here to your notifications tab. So you see new notifications, and then there's a new following tab. And here is, so I follow Mike and Camelot Maisie, our delightful fearless leader. And so now you see all of the things that they've posted. We have here, there's mark all as read. Here, that should also exist here at the top. So that's getting added. So you don't have to manually mark every single one of these things as read. And I did know somebody else said, maybe I don't want to follow somebody because I don't want a new dot every single time somebody posts something, which understandable. And I wish I remember who suggested this, because it was a user in one of our suggestion forms that suggested this, but one of you guys were the ones that suggested the separate following tab, which I think is fantastic. So you can sort of separate activity on your stuff versus people you're following. But then if you go to the settings wheel on your notifications, you can control what you're receiving notifications for. So if you don't want to see notifications for every single reaction, or if you don't want a notification when you're tagged on something, or if you don't want notifications when people post stuff, you just want it quietly in a following tab for you to check in on whenever you want, you can uncheck that, hit save, and then it will still be there, but you're not going to get a red dot every single time. Yeah, so if you've learned one thing, please check out your settings here at the top of the comments. This is your default and privacy settings, and then over here, your notification settings as well.
Speaking of settings, the next question actually is about that and font size. Were the comments. Somebody was wondering, how can I keep the font size set to small rather than changing it over and over from medium?
Yeah, so you're going to go here to your settings wheel. I have my default font size to small here. Change it wherever you want it to be. So you want it to small, save. This is a little bit of a change because before I can still, I'm on a different device maybe and small is too small for my default and I want to make it bigger, I can still do that. But then, when the comments are refreshed, it's going to reload my defaults, which is to the small comment size. So you still have the ability to change font size on the fly, but you're going to go into the settings wheel to, some people want to hide all photos by default because it's a lot of scrolling, or they want it to be small or extra large or whatever. So go to your settings, and this is going to be how the comment board loads each time.
I think we partly answered this a little bit ago, but there's a second part to the next question. I don't think that we've answered yet, but this person wrote in and said, I love that we can now follow other chatters, but it would be helpful if we could click on their usernames in the list of those we follow to get their posts. So we talked about how you can see other people and search for if their publicly available comments. But the last part of this question, Candace, was somebody said, also, can we see a list anywhere of those following us? So like if I or you were wondering if, hey, who's following me?
Mhm.
Would we be able to do that?
Not yet. I saw this question and I was like, oh, that's so obvious. Why didn't I think of that? Which is part of why we get your feedback. So not right now, but I am planning on bringing it up with the team. So I will hopefully have an update for that soon. And thank you very much for the suggestion. My guess is it's going to be here in the same place where you can see your blocked users list, your following users list, and then maybe we'll add something down here that says following me. Um, but that's a really good suggestion, and I think we should add it. But yeah, here notification is where you can, see who you're following and following.
Go back to something that you said before too,
Mhm.
just to remind people. A person wrote in it and said, if you are following a user, should a
Mhm.
notification show up on the bell that a user has posted something, but it doesn't show up there, it shows up in a different place, correct?
It actually should show up if you have following alerts enabled. It should show up on the bell. So if it's not, I can do some testing on that. Actually,
Oh,
now that
okay.
I'm thinking about it, I think it might not be showing up on the bell. So that might be a new thing for us to look at. Um, so yeah, thank you for pointing that out as well. Because if you should, yeah, you should have to disable following alerts to quiet the bell down.
And then again, just about following
Mhm.
people, and how that works. This person wrote in and said, I may be misunderstanding, but if I follow someone, I thought I read I would receive a notification every time they post. I have
Mhm.
some people whom I love dearly, but who post at least 100 pictures
Yeah.
every day. I cannot
Mhm.
go through that many notifications. So there are several people I have not followed. Can you clarify this for me,
Yeah,
please?
so you're right. It should receive a notification. And like I said, you should disable following alerts if you don't want a notification for it. Um, but otherwise, I think, yeah, that's going to have to be a choice you make about, who you want in your life. Once we get the mark all is red fixed up here, it'll be a little bit less of a heavy lift to go through and manually click mark is red on all of these guys. Um, the other thing I wanted to point out that I don't think anybody asked a question about, but we are working on an issue where you can't follow some users. Naomi specifically is getting picked on in this. People have been trying to follow Naomi and they can't.
Oh,
And so
okay.
that's been reported. We are working on it. If there's anybody else who's experiencing this, please, yeah, it's in process right now.
And then, this is one of those things that some people would really love, other people
Mhm.
would be absolutely opposed to. But this person wrote in and said, "Hi, I was just wondering if there will ever be a feature allowing users to direct message one another."
Not at the time. That's like a whole that would be a whole it would be a project, this sort of the scope of this new comment system. And also I think it opens us up to some, you know, there's people if yeah, I don't know. I think it's just not something that we're looking for right now. When I first did the survey uh to get your guys' idea about like what you wanted out of a new comment system, I did ask if people wanted a DM feature, and only like 15% of the people wanted a DM feature. So it seems like people who want it really, really want it, but most people are fine without it. So I think, there's lots of amazing Explore Facebook groups. If you want to connect with a fellow Explore fan, maybe see if they're in the same Facebook group as you, and then go and DM them from there. That would be my suggestion.
And then one of the cool things about the comments is that you can share media, not just photos, but you could
Mhm.
share like an embedded YouTube
Mhm.
video. Like a lot of our audience has screen captures of like really interesting animal behavior, and then they'll
Mhm.
post it in the chat for other people to talk about. But every once in a while, there's an error getting
Mhm.
those videos to play. So this person wrote in and asked, is there a reason that YouTube videos are no longer expanding in the chat, or is that a glitch on my end?
It's not a glitch on your end. It's something we're actively looking into. I think so far the going theory is that it might be an issue with the YouTube API. So you'll find another theme of this Q&A is what the heck is YouTube doing? So we're investigating that to see if maybe we need to update or change some API stuff, application protocol interface, for the curious. But it's not just you, and we are looking at it. For the moment, I think just make sure, hey, Rolling Trouble, yeah, you are not wrong. If you want to still post the link, you can like hyperlink something. Like if I wanted to post, it's very meta right now. So the YouTube videos are doing this, which we are aware of. You could choose to do like a hyperlink like that. Oh, it's actually doing the same thing there too. That's interesting. If you close it. That is weird. Okay. I'll have to do some more research on what's happening here. Do some more testing, because that's very strange. But yes, this is something that we've had a ticket in for I think 2 or 3 weeks. It started with YouTube channel links, and it seems the problems are expanding to other YouTube links as well.
And then with when someone posts a new comment, there's a little blue sort of bubble that shows up like, hey, view 1 new comment or 2 new comments. That is the same color as the hide media button. So a person wrote in and asked, is it possible to change the show new replies in a different color than the blue hide media? I'm a fast scroller and color pops out more for me than words, and I tend to miss some.
I think color changes are probably pretty easy. So if that's something you guys are interested in, I just posted a comment. Please let me know if that's something you're interested in. Because if people think that that's going to be more visually helpful for them, I think probably a color change would be pretty simple. So let me know if that's something you guys want, and we can look into it.
Yeah, pick your poison though. We could make it something really obnoxious that everyone will see it. Like bright flashing orange or something.
I know. Unfortunately, we have done lots of like color contrast accessibility testing, so I'll probably have to go pick a color that's gonna be like colorblind friendly, accessibility friendly. Our amazing designer, Sarah, who does Drawn to Explore, has done some good work with us there. So we'll probably pick something, I don't know, dark green or something purple, perhaps, something web standard and easy to see, hopefully.
All right. And last question that we have here, Candace, this is about hashtags. We talked about those a little bit earlier, but this person was wondering, when I use the hashtag character, suggestions don't always come up. And what I've hashtagged doesn't get highlighted. Why is that? And how do I use the hashtag to find a bear?
Yeah, so to use the hashtag to find a bear, we're gonna migrate over to Brown Bears chat for this.
Yeah, I
So I
think
think it'll be a little bit more helpful. So I'm gonna go hashtag, let's do 164. He's been around and stalking. So you have to, that's the other thing. It's here, 164. You have to actually select it. So this is the part I think some people miss. You have to actually select it, and then once it's in blue here, then it will be applied. So that's one step, is to make sure that you've actually selected the hashtag that you want to search.
And you're not creating hashtags when you're filtering either. That
No.
You have to create a hashtag by posting an original comment.
Yeah. So these are all of the 164 ones. We're gonna reset filters. And so what they're saying is that sometimes the hashtags that they're typing aren't showing up. So I'm not sure what hashtags they're using. It would be helpful to test if I knew what was happening, but okay, so right, what should be happening here, I see what they're saying, is that there should be a drop-down menu here that shows up to select. So if it's a new hashtag, it'll be blank like this, but we just searched 164, so we know that 164 is a hashtag. So it should be happening. There we go. This should show up, but it didn't for that one. There it is. So sometimes, so it's not being consistent, which is interesting. That's good to know. And we will mark that to talk about with the devs this week. So I don't know why, but it does seem to be inconsistent. So when searching hashtags, my main tip is to make sure the hashtag is selected. But when trying to post a hashtag in the comment, we have seen that the hashtag like recognition is not always coming up. Like what oh, interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah, I wish I had more for you there other than thanks for calling this out, and we will put a ticket in for it this week. Of course, now that I've tried it a couple times, I can't make it happen again, which is the nature of a lot of troubleshooting.
Yes. Well, Candace, I found this informative. I definitely learned some stuff. That's all for our questions. If people, again, have more follow-up questions or suggestions, what should they do?
Please email us at feedback@explore.org. And when you're talking, when you have an issue with the comment system, it's helpful to be as detailed as possible. There's a strong chance you're not the only person that it's happening to. So the more information you give us, the easier it will be for us to track down a pattern, to see any problems. Include screenshots if you can. That's always very helpful, or describe what it is you were doing when you made the thing happen. Or if you just want to know about a feature, you can email feedback and ask us there. We do read all the feedback emails that come in. So we'll get to you guys as soon as we can.
Well, great. Yeah, thanks so much for this information, Candace. I found it helpful and informative. So yeah, thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
And that was Candace Rush, the Director of New Media for Explore.org. We'll have more updates about all of our webcam happenings in the near future, more to Explore programs, lots of brown bear live events, AfriCam events coming up in the near future as well. My name is Mike Fitz with Explore.org. Thanks for joining us today. And as we like to say here with Explore, never stop learning.